Hi there, it's Debbie from celestialastrologyhealing.co.uk. I'm doing this video live from Crete, where I'm taking a break on holiday, but I didn't want to not do a video on the new moon solar eclipse on Wednesday, the 2nd of October, this year, 2024, where the sun and the moon are conjoined at the same degrees, 10 degrees, Libra, 3 minutes. Greek time, I think it's about 9 o'clock at night, and you would have to adjust that. It's a couple of hours, it's 2 or 3 hours to go to UK time. So this is the last solar eclipse in Libra, which started on the 14th of October 2023. That was the very first Libra eclipse. So we've had these Libra and Aries eclipses going across these axes. So if you know your own birth chart, then have a look at where that Libra and Aries house is for you. And recently we've had the first full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces, because the nodes of the moon always go retrograde. So without a visual in front of me, I find it really hard to describe, but the Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, and then it goes backwards to Pisces, and Libra then goes back into Virgo. So that's where the eclipses will be after the last new moon solar eclipse in Aries on the 29th of March 2025. So at the time of a new moon solar eclipse, it's the time of, there's something karmic about changes and endings, new beginnings with new solar eclipses. You can plant seeds of intention, but the themes that are prevalent, it's more like a completion point of ending, and certainly surrendering and letting go of something, because Ketu, the south node of the moon, is also within a 6-degree orb of the 10 degrees Libra conjunction of the sun and the moon. Ketu is at 16 degrees Libra, 16 minutes retrograde. So yeah, I'll show a chart of the heavens. I'll show some imagery for Libra as well. And I welcome you to subscribe to my channel if you're new here. Press the subscription button or the notification button. It doesn't cost anything, and that will let you know when I do new videos. I usually just do videos for new and full moon, but that may change in the future. It does take quite a long time to do this. Leave a comment below if any of this resonates with you. I'll show a chart of the heavens, describe the planetary weather, look at the main aspects, and then give interpretations for all the signs of the zodiac. So if you know your time of birth, you can listen in for your ascendant, your rising sign, or you can also listen in for your sun and your moon sign, just to see which resonates with you. And I use the whole sign house system and the Western tropical zodiac. So I can hear the sea crashing behind me. I was in two minds about whether to show the view, but I thought maybe my background with the astrological wheel might make people recognize the fact that this is an astrological reading here. And yeah, thank you for my subscribers who support me, and thank you for being here. Thank you for listening, and thank you for leaving a comment and subscribing if you're new here. Thank you so much. So let me just share some imagery before we go into the chart of the heavens. So this is just a glyph of the symbol for Libra. It's quite interesting because Libra is a cardinal air sign, so that's very much related to the mind and communications, thoughts and ideas. And Libra is a rational sign of the zodiac, an air sign ruled by Venus, the goddess of love and beauty. And it's interesting because a lot of the signs of the zodiac have like an animal type energy, like Saggitarius is half man, half horse, Taurus is the bull, Aries is the ram, Cancer is the crab, Scorpio is the scorpion, etc. Capricorn is the goat, Pisces are the fish. But Libra is the only sign of the zodiac that which isn't, you know, an actual animal. So it's inanimate, and there's something about that and rational thought, but always Libran energy tries to do things in harmony, which is the nature of Venus, bringing together peacefully with a sense of union, calm, respect, partnership, collaboration, etc. This is just a sign of the balance, the sign of the scales of trying to find balance. And, you know, the mind is open with Libra, rational thoughts and ideas, sharing ideas, but also the shadow side of Libran energy can be indecision because one is always aware of the other's thoughts and feelings. So there's that propensity to sometimes swither and go between ideas and question oneself. And here's another powerful sign of the scales here that I loved. So I think that's everything here as far as the imagery. There's just one thing about solar eclipses. This is when a new moon happens and the moon is between the sun and the earth, cutting off the light from the sun from the earth. And solar eclipses can bring supercharged energy. It's like a sort of extra oomph of energy. And solar eclipses, it's always when there's a new moon. So that is the idea of a chance for new beginnings, planting seeds of intention for the future. However, as I was saying, these themes would have been happening over the last 18 months. Let's see if I can find the chart of the heavens. Here we go. So this new moon solar eclipse is happening on the 2nd of October, as I've mentioned. I've got it set for Heraklion here in Greece, where I'm really lucky to be recharging, regenerating, taking time out for myself from my everyday responsibilities and work and family. I'm just enjoying the recharge, but I have really been enjoying, I'm doing some astrology again, which is my passion, and I love doing birth charts. So get in touch with me if you're interested for a personal reading. So this is a general reading. So at the time of this new moon in Libra, we have a stellium of planets here. There's the sun and the moon always conjoined at the same degree and minute, 10 degrees, 3 minutes Libra. And we have the planet of communication, ideas, thoughts, interactions, journeys, selling things, that sort of magical trickster energy of Mercury. And Mercury is in the air sign of Libra. So Mercury can be androgynous, can be masculine or feminine, but all the air signs are a masculine as in an outward energy, sort of a yang energy of expression. So there is that stellium when you have 3 or more planets, and well, the sun and the moon are called luminaries. They're not strictly planets, but in astrological terms, we can call them planets. And there's also dark moon Lilith wedged in there at 10 degrees. So I don't particularly work with her to share any knowledge, but you can look into that as well. So dark moon Lilith is in here too. And also what we have is the south node of the moon here within a 4-degree orb. So the south node, as I was mentioning, is a sense of release, surrender, diminishment, letting go, the severed body of the dragon there. So at the time of this new moon, for everybody, wherever this Libran house is in your personal birth chart, there is a sense of recognizing of what you've outgrown, what no longer serves you, what you no longer resonate with, so that you can just shed it and release it. And when we release things and let go of what doesn't work for us in our lives and allow us to be true to ourselves, authentically walking our path in our own power and self-awareness, true to our own destiny and our own belief systems, and, you know, true to ourselves, and everybody is different, you know, that allows us to open up another door, close one door, endings and new chapters can begin and unfold over the next 18 months or so. And there is something karmic. Sometimes we can have ideas of things that we like to plant seeds of intention to bring to fruition over the future months. But there's a sense of sometimes we don't have a huge amount of choice as well with the south node there. Sometimes modern astrologers will call that the nodes of fate. So it's something quite karmic. So there will be some changes for everybody in that Libran house there. So also, because Libra is a cardinal sign, I'll point out all the cardinal signs, and this would have been true since October 2023. If you've got any planets in Libra, which is the cardinal air, Aries, which is the cardinal fire, Cancer, which is the cardinal water, and Capricorn, which is the cardinal earth, those are the modalities. you will be feeling these energies over these Libra and Aries eclipses stronger, because they will be either in conjunction to your natal chart planets, or they will be in a square 90-degree aspect, or in opposition. And these are more dynamic, challenging aspects. And certainly when the nodes move into Pisces and Aries, Pisces and Libra, that will trigger the mutable signs of the zodiac, which are Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. So that will be the future eclipses going across the Virgo Pisces axis, because they go back in the heavens. Here you can see Aries, and going anti-clockwise, the nodes, you can see it's at 6 degrees Aries, but it's going backwards, retrograding against the flow of the planets, which tend to go counterclockwise unless they are going retrograde, which some outer planets are. I'll go into that shortly. So that's Aries going into Pisces there, and Libra going this way, because this is the anti-clockwise direction, going into Virgo in the future. So also, if you've got any planetary placements between 7 degrees, I'm giving a 3-degree orb, so 3 degrees before 10 degrees, 7 degrees there to 13 degrees of Libra, or any of the other cardinal signs, you may find this eclipse more significant for you. So other planetary weather that's happening in the heavens here, I'll remove some of these lines. So there are quite a few planetary placements where the planets aren't exactly happy in the houses or the signs of the zodiac that they're in. For example, we have Venus here, 11 degrees, Scorpio, 46 minutes. Well, Venus is naturally at home in the opposite house of Taurus, so she's known to be in exile, far away from home in Scorpio, or in detriment. These are sort of old-fashioned words, and it doesn't mean that we can't have good experiences with Venus in Scorpio, but Scorpio is a fixed water sign, quite passionate, quite intense. So, during this period of time when Venus is in Scorpio, our feelings may run very deep. We may question what our values are. There could be heightened feelings of possessiveness, or the shadow energies, or secrecy, or jealousy, or intensity, just enjoying that sort of real one-to-one exclusive energy, because Venus is here in that sign of Scorpio, the fixed water, passion, intense energies, looking deep into the hidden shadow parts of ourselves as well, is part of that Scorpio energy, because Scorpio is quite secretive and hides things. It's quite a private sign of the zodiac, with that hard shell and the scorpion sting ready to ready for any threat there. And also we've got Mars in Cancer here. So again, this isn't a sign that naturally Mars is completely happy to be in. And wherever this house of Cancer is in your chart, we're going to have Mars here for quite some time, many months, in fact, instead of about 5 or 6 weeks, because Mars will be going into Leo and then retrograding back through Cancer. You can look at my previous video for more times about that. But Mars in Cancer, Mars is at 15 degrees Cancer, 46 minutes. Well, Mars is happy in the exaltation of Capricorn, because he's able to do things in a really practical and productive way, rational, grounded, purposeful. But in the sign of Fall, which is where Mars is at this time in Cancer, Mars's energy is affected by the moon, so there could be lots of changeable energies. Mars is a guest of the moon in Cancer, and therefore emotions may be very high, especially around the topics that Cancer and the moon are related to, which is home and family, protection, safety, ancestry, lineage, property, your resting place. So Mars is like a mother bear, highly protective energy at the time of this new moon solar eclipse as well. And Jupiter, we've had Jupiter, where are you, Jupiter? Here we are in the first house of Gemini. So Jupiter in Gemini is in the sign, again, in exile because Jupiter naturally rules Sagittarius. So it's far from home, 180 degrees away in Gemini. Jupiter's been here since the 26th of May and spends a year. So Jupiter will be here. We're more than halfway through now. So Jupiter in Gemini has lots of ideas because Gemini is the dual sign of the twins, the air sign. So Jupiter, you know, has lots and lots of stimulation going on while Jupiter is in Gemini in a place of exile or detriment. So, and then if we go into looking at the outer planets, we'll start with Saturn. Saturn is at 14 degrees. Let me get the arrow this time. 14 degrees Pisces, 14 minutes retrograde. So, you know, halfway through Pisces, and will station direct around the 15th or 16th of November at 12 degrees Pisces, 41 minutes. But at the moment, going backwards, going over old ground again, wherever this Pisces house cusp is for you, this is where Saturn will be reviewing and reflecting and thinking about limitations and responsibilities and creating healthy boundaries, because in the sign of Pisces, the water that just flows, you know, and is connected to others and compassion and care and emotions and empathy, etc. You know, Saturn is the dam walls that tries to create something that can channel the energy and contain it. So Saturn is there retrograde. Neptune is going retrograde as well in Pisces at 28 degrees 11 minutes Pisces, and will station direct on the 7th of December at 27 degrees. So not moving very far back, but at least it's not on the anaretic degree of 29 at the moment. So again, reflections around your dreams and aspirations, creativity, fantasies, romanticism. You know, in this Pisces house that in modern day astrology, Neptune is seen to be the ruler of Pisces. However, it's Jupiter in ancient times. So Neptune is also going retrograde. And then we have Uranus, also the planet of unpredictability, awakening, shocking, freedom, rebellion, new ideas, destabilization, unexpected events. Neptune's at 26 degrees Taurus, 51 retrograde here, and will station direct on the 29th of January, 2025 at 28 degrees, 15 minutes Taurus. So we'll just be, yeah, is that right? 28 degrees, is that possible? No, that can't be right. I must have written that down wrong, because if Uranus is 26 degrees, I'm just going to pause this 1 second and get my notes. Excuse me. Am I actually paused, or is that just my screen? No, I need to pause. Hi there again. Sorry, I've just checked my notes about Uranus retrograde, and Uranus will station direct at 23 degrees at 15 Taurus. That makes more sense. It's just when I was doing this earlier, the sun must have been on the laptop, and 28 looked like 23. So yeah, so Uranus will go back and station at 23 degrees Taurus there. So that was worth checking. And also we have Pluto. Let me bring up my annotate tool again. We've got Pluto at the anaretic degree of Capricorn here. So Pluto is tying up ends, offering us all to tie up ends wherever this Capricorn house is for us in our own personal birth charts, because Pluto will not be in the heavens here again for 248 years. So the anaretic degree is a stressful degree, the last degree of a sign. It's quite a critical degree. It's almost at the next sign, not quite. And it's just like hovering here, giving a lot of intensity, like a liner in the ocean, just like really, really slowly moving here. So after the 20th of November, Pluto will go back into Aquarius, where he's dipped his toe in a couple of times since the 24th of March 2023 to the 10th of June. That's when Pluto first went into Aquarius. Then he returned to Capricorn on the 11th of June. And then the 21st of January, he ingressed back into Aquarius again, 2024. and then stationed retrograde on the 2nd of May 2024, and returned to Capricorn on the 2nd of September until the 19th of November. So this is the opportunity for, Pluto represents many things. He's Hades, god of the underworld. So things that are hidden or suppressed or are related to control or power issues around that Capricorn area of your life. Also treasures that can be found. So it could be about rewards and treasures and gifts and finances as well. There's a mix with the Hades energy. So that's something that's going on in the heavens as well. Those outer planets, so they're all pretty much retrograde at the moment, and Chiron's here retrograde as well. So the aspects between the planets, we have got a water trine. So let me join up the water trine. So water is about our emotions and our feelings and our sensitivities, our intuition. So Saturn, 14 degrees Pisces, is in an overcoming trine to Mars at 15 degrees Cancer, and Mars is in an overcoming trine to Venus at 11 degrees. That's quite a big orb. It's a 4-degree orb, but the energy is building there. And Venus is in an overcoming trine to Saturn. So this is called a Grand Trine. So it involves all of the water sign elements. Bearing in mind that Mars in Cancer is in fall, Venus in Scorpio is in detriment or exile. So perhaps Saturn in Pisces can be the overseer and impart his wisdom around, endurance, reality checks, to ground these energies that may be heightened. But a Grand Trine, the energies of the trine, it's the nature of Jupiter, which can bring some benefits, but obviously we've then got to look at which planets are involved. So I was thinking, Saturn is stronger, bringing in a sense of boundary and reality to the dynamics around Cancer. Mars in Cancer, who's highly protective and on guard to use his warrior type energies, and topics around home and family, safety, mothering. And then Mars in Cancer is in an overcoming trine to Venus. So that's intense feelings and protection, affecting the desires and values and important things in our personal relationships, which is Venus in Scorpio. So that's a harmonious trine. And then we also have a square aspect from Mars. He is going to be in a square aspect to this stellium of planets here. So the square, as you can think of it, is 90-degree aspect, 30, 60, 90. So when these planets move on, the sun moves a degree a day, the moon moves very quickly, about 13 degrees a day. I've got lists of dates here. So more challenging aspects will be Mars will be squaring the moon the day after, on the 3rd of October. So this could be bringing up even more heightened feelings and emotions and the inner landscape of our sensitivities and our feelings and that emotional nature. And there could be some sense of, Mars is highly emotional in Cancer. The square is challenging things to overcome, and the moon is about our feelings. And in Libra, it's trying to keep the balance and trying to find that fulcrum point where harmony and peace and avoidance of discord is found. But this could be quite hard to, not impossible, but being aware of this could be a good thing. It can be very motivating, the aspect of a square, but at the same time, things to overcome and step over and dig deep. And then Mars is also applying to Mercury. The peak will be on the 6th of October. That's when it's going to be exactly in the square to Mercury. And Mercury is about our mind and our thoughts and our communications. So that highly sensitive, emotional, protective nature applying to Mercury in Libra. And, you know, you may have many different ideas, toing and froing, thoughts, you know, changes of ideas. That's the Libran thing, you know, indecision sometimes, or just being aware of other people's and trying not to upset the apple cart in some way. And then Mars will be applying to square the Sun on between the 8th of October, peaking on the 14th of October, exactly at the exact aspect, and to the 18th of October. So the Sun is about our self-expression and our drive. So Mars is causing a square, you know, an overcoming square to the Sun in Libra. You know, so all of these energies are happening at the same time. You've got that Grand Trine in the water signs, plus we've got this, following this new moon solar eclipse that will unfold with a sense of release. We've got the Mars dynamic squaring it. So now I'm going to bring up the chart and move it round and give short sign delineations for all the signs of the zodiac, Aries through to Pisces, and I'll add in timestamps so you can scroll along to your personal sign. Again, you can listen to your ascendant if you know your time of birth, your sun and your moon, and leave a comment below. And again, I will welcome you to subscribe if you're happy to do that, and to encourage me to do more of my astrological sharings. So hi there, Aries, ascendant, sun or moon. This is a new moon eclipse in Libra, and this is happening in your dynamic house of personal relationships. So no doubt you would have been feeling this going on over the last while, since October 2023, when we had that first lunar eclipse, solar eclipse in Libra, and you're revisiting these themes again. With this stellium of the Sun, Moon, Mercury, and the south node of the Moon. So there is a sense of something has to go, something has to be released around something in your close and personal relationships. So this could be romantic, you know, marital, close relationships like that, or it could be to do with your clientele, business partners, or clients that you serve. Something's got to be released and let go of so that you can begin a new chapter, which will, you know, unfold over the next 18 months or so as the nodes go into the Virgo house of your service and everyday life and work and health, and Pisces, your hidden house. So that's what's going on here, this new moon solar eclipse in Libra. And at the same time, we've got this Grand Trine. We've got Mars as your ruler, and Mars is in your house of home and family, feeling very protective and highly emotional, and, you know, that very warrior energy around safety and protection and looking after and caring for, nurturing. So topics around home, family, mother, children, property, the land, your resting place are heightened here, with a flowing energy going to Venus in Scorpio in your 8th house. So this is related to very close and intimate relationships as well, what you share with others in a sense of intimacy. This is the house of karmic debt. So it's about what you bring to the table and what others bring to the table. It's also the house of deep mysteries, the occult, anxieties and fears, and it can be also related to death and endings, and inheritances and money that comes in from other sources that's not to do with your own work life. So it can be mundane topics about your rent and your mortgages and bills and taxes, but it also can be chunks of money that come in from other sources, like grants or unexpected windfalls and things like that. So that could be potentially a positive there. And Venus is in a flowing trine to Saturn and Pisces in your 12th house, where you are, you know, you've got this Saturn here in Pisces and for about 2.5 years, and it's halfway through retrograde. Venus is about your values, your pleasures, how you interact with others. And, there's an intensity with Scorpio energy. There's something quite precise and exclusive about Venus and Scorpio. It can be quite passionate. And this is going to Saturn. Look, I didn't mean to have that big arrow. That was sorry about that. How do we undo that? It's a bit distracting. So Saturn in Pisces is like really encouraging you, Aries, to reflect inwardly to your inner self, your higher self, your inner wealth that is in a, you can tap into this when you're behind the scenes, away from the public eye. Perhaps journaling, or taking time to develop some healthy practices related to sort of anything that calms you, that brings you into a sort of sense of knowing yourself more, and taking time out. It's a place of hidden retreat. So it could be behind the scenes, it could be in nature, it could be anything, libraries. It can also be related to institutions, hospitals, hospices, caring for others in place, that are suffering as well. So that trine is happening there, a water trine there, related to all of those houses, 4th, 8th, and 12th house of Saturn's joy. And at the same time, we've got this square from Mars, which is a bit more of a challenging aspect. Again, coming from the home, this is your ruling planet, Mars. So he is going to be squaring these energies of the Sun, the Moon, Mercury here in your 7th house of close and personal relationships. So there's likely to be some potential volatility, Aries, and we all know that Aries can, be quick off the mark to express themselves impulsively, and, anger is easy to be expressed for many Aries people. So just being aware of that energy being, a possible trigger for you at this time following this new moon on the 2nd. These energies of the square from Mars will be happening between the 3rd of October and the 18th of October, when we're looking at the squares to the moon and the sun and Mercury. So I hope that's helpful for you, Aries. Leave a comment below, and good luck as the new moon solar eclipse allows you to let go and move forward for the future. So hi there, Taurus. This is the new moon solar eclipse in Libra on the 2nd of October. And as we can see, this is happening in your 6th house of everyday life, your work, your daily routines, your service, a sense of self-sacrifice, and it can also be related to your own personal health. So with Ketu here, and the idea that this could be the time of something new, there's something about maybe letting go of perhaps some habits that impact negatively on your own health, or maybe you've already started doing that because you've had these eclipses across the 6th house and the 12th house of Aries over the last 18 months. So this is the very last Libran solar eclipse. They started on I think it was 23rd of October. Let's double check my notes. 14th of October 2023. That was the first Libran eclipse. And the last Aries eclipse will be the 29th of March 2025. So at this time, this is what's being highlighted for you, the topics of trying to keep peace and harmony and working in partnership within your everyday life here, because Libra tries to do things in a harmonious way. And Venus is your ruler, your chart ruler. Venus is the goddess of love and beauty and calm and peace. So, that's a sense of, that's what you want to do ideally. But, Venus, your ruler, she's in Scorpio, which is a place that is not the most comfortable position for her in your 7th house. So this could be causing some conflict perhaps in Scorpio in this 7th house of relationships. It might be heightening, intense feelings in Scorpio. Scorpio is fixed water, deep feelings. Sometimes the shadow side of Scorpio energy is resentment, you know, memories that are negative, you know, jealousy, possessiveness, you know, so just to be aware of those energies as well with Venus in Scorpio at this time, Taurus. And there is a Grand Trine, which is hopeful, from Venus in Scorpio to Saturn in your 11th house of Pisces, going to Mars in your 3rd house of Cancer, and you know, Mars overcomes his trine to Venus. So the Grand Trine in water again is highlighting emotions, our sensitivities, our feelings, you know, all of these things that potentially run deep. Saturn in Pisces is in your 11th house of your hopes and wishes. So you may be reviewing long-term plans because this is Jupiter's joy, the 11th house here, and Saturn is retrograding. So you may be thinking and rethinking your long-term plans with a sense of reality check. And Saturn is trining Mars in Cancer, you know, this everyday life, the 3rd house of your short journeys, your local environment, your neighborhood, related to communications and siblings. So there's a sort of a busyness and a protectiveness around your home environment and what you do, short journeys and communications with others. And this is going to be highlighted for you, Mars in Cancer, for many, many months, because Mars will be retrograding back into Cancer and spending quite a lot of months here. Have a look at my last video if you're interested as well. So, and then Mars, protection, home, family, safety, is trining Venus, intense relationships in your personal house there of personal relationships. And at the same time, Mars is giving a square aspect from your everyday life to these planets, the stellium of planets, Sun, Moon, and Mercury here. And these energies will be going on from the 3rd of October to the 18th of October. You know, so that the square is a more challenging aspect. It's things that can be triggering and stimulating action, really, you know, from your everyday life. But that highly protective energy, mother bear energy, you know, protecting and sometimes martyring yourself on the behalf of other people. You know, Mars can take his sword into the war field and, you know, sacrifice himself with martyrdom, protecting those that he feels are less able than themselves. So, you know, that energy there, be aware of that energy and how that may impact your own health. And maybe it could cause some conflict with your work colleagues, because this is the house of co-workers as well. But it certainly is bringing up square action to your feelings, your self-expression, and your thoughts. So see how that unfolds over the next couple of weeks, Taurus, and thank you for listening. Hi there, Gemini. Welcome to your short report for the new moon solar eclipse in Libra. I'm just going to circle where this is happening for you, Gemini. This is in your 5th house, which was known in ancient times as the house of Venus's joy. It's a house of pleasures, creativity, can be romance, it can be entrepreneurship, it can be about love, sex, pregnancy, children. All of these topics are being highlighted at this new moon. But with the Ketu there, the south node of the moon, it's about recognizing what you need to let go of, what's not healthy for you in this area. There's some sense of release, of letting go of something, surrendering something, acknowledging, you know, what is not healthy for you. And you would have been having these same energies going across the Libra 5th house and the Aries 11th house since the first eclipse on the 14th of October 2023. That was the first Libran eclipse. And then the last Aries eclipse, new moon in Aries eclipse, will be the 29th of March 2025, before they start shifting back into your house of home and family, the Virgo house, and the Pisces house of your outward life, your career, your vocations in life. So this is the very last eclipse in Pisces for you to actually reflect upon what you can let go of to allow a new chapter to unfold. And your ruler is Mercury, and Mercury is involved in this stellium of energies. So, you know, it's something about partnership, trying to find the peace and balance, with these Libran energies, because Libran loves to be in collaboration and try to keep, you know, harmony, goddess of love, beauty, calm, etc. So at the same time, we've got this trine, a water trine. Get them. So Mars in Cancer in your second house goes to Venus in Scorpio in your sixth house, and Saturn in your 10th house, Pisces. So this brings up topics of finances, recognizing your own self-worth and your own skills, which, you know, you want to be able to provide and do things and care for and make safe, topics around home and family, using your own resources, with Mars in Cancer in fall here, which is also going to a trine to Venus in Scorpio in your sixth house, which is your house of work and daily duties. So there's some intense feelings, passion, partnership, you know, with Mars in an overcoming trine. So there's flow, but it does heighten emotions as well. And there could be some feelings that you're revisiting, looking at within your close and personal relationships. And in Scorpio, the energy can be quite intense and exclusive. You know, sometimes feelings of fear, insecurity, jealousy, resentment, possessiveness can come up. Venus likes to be in the sign of Taurus, and she's far from home in Scorpio. So these intense, powerful emotions can be heightened, and Mars has already got powerful feelings going on when he's in fall in Cancer, trying to protect and look after. And then it goes to your house of your 10th house, where Saturn is, in the house of your work and your career, perhaps your vocations in life. If you're not in that career time of your life, it's what you're seen to do publicly. You're maybe cutting away, thinking about what you can limit in this area of your life and how that might impact on your resources and finances coming in. And also we have the Mars square from your second house to your fifth house. So Mars will be squaring the stellium of planets, the moon and the sun and Mercury. Starting, you know, if we count all of the squares, it's the day after this new moon solar eclipse on the 2nd of October. It starts on the 3rd to the 18th. So there's about 2 weeks of Mars topics around your skills and finances and protection, and how that can impact the house of your pleasures or related to your children. It's a very activating aspect, the square. It's the nature of Mars, and there can be blockages and things to overcome with this square aspect. So Mars initially aspects the squares the moon the day after, the 3rd, and then applies to Mercury and peaks on the 6th, an exact square aspect to Mercury on the 6th until the 8th of October if we're taking the 3-degree orb. And then Mars will apply to the Sun on the 8th, peaking on the 14th, and separating 3-degree orb on the 18th of October. So, you know, feelings are going to be heightened with the square to the moon in Libra. Your thoughts are going to be heightened, and your ideas when the square is to Mercury, and your sense of self and expression and ambition are going to be heightened when Mars is square to the Sun. So let me know if any of that resonates for you, or see how that unfolds over the next few weeks here, Gemini, and thank you for listening. Hi there, Cancer. Ascendant, if you know your time of birth or your sun or your moon. As you can see, this new moon solar eclipse in Libra is happening here in your 4th house, because you're one of the cardinal signs of the zodiac. So the 4th house is a very dynamic angle of the chart, sometimes called a kentron or a pivot point. So wherever there's planets in the 4th house, 1st house, 7th and 10th, these planets or luminaries speak louder. So this is bringing up topics around your home, your resting place, family, your ancestry and your lineage, and maybe the property where you live. And there's a sense of something is being released with the south node of the moon here. Something has to go or be let go of, because this is a sort of karmic release point with a new moon, allowing you to shed what's no longer required so that you can have a new chapter ahead. And these dynamics would have been going on across your home, Libran house, and your Aries house since the first new moon in Libra, which was the 14th of October 2023, and the very last new moon in Aries will be the 29th of March 2025. So you've had these energies toing and froing across these axes over the last 18 months, but this is the last one that you've got in Libra. You know, in Libra, we want to find harmony and peace and balance and cooperation. That's the ideal. And your moon is here, your ruler is here with the sun conjoined, but also conjoined to the south node. And the south node of the moon can be thought of as the node of fate. So something karmic about letting go of something around home and family to allow new chapters to unfold. So that's where this new moon's happening for you, Cancer. And also we have this trine here. So Mars is in your 1st house. This is going to be quite an ongoing, I was going to say irritation. It can be irritation. It can just be firing up you. Whenever you have Mars in your 1st house, it's about you. It's about your own sense of identity, your physicality and vitality, your psychology, your mindset. You know, Mars in Cancer is highly protective, but it can cause some inflammation and irritation to your own personal self if you're always thinking about others and protecting others, which, you know, that's in your nature anyway, because you're very caring and you're ruled by the moon. So just being aware of that, because this Mars energy is going to be continuing for very many months instead of weeks, because Mars goes into Leo, and then retrogrades back into Cancer. So Mars will be in your 1st house of Cancer. But at this time of this new moon on the 2nd of October, Mars is trining Venus in your 5th house of pleasures. There could be something about looking into, you know, how you find pleasures. This is your house of creativity, romance, fun, entrepreneurship. There's something, you know, passionate and intense with this scorpionic energy here, fixed water, Venus in exile in Scorpio. You know, it could be about an intense relationship that may also come by you, or you may be just very focused and determined to go deep into some aspects of where you find your pleasures in life, because this can be, if you've got creativity to share with others, if you run your own business, or, you know, have passions and entrepreneurship, this could be highlighting these energies that Mars can offer support to Venus there. And Venus is also trining Saturn in your 9th house of Pisces, the house of God, the joy of the sun, topics around your higher mind, your belief system, spirituality, philosophy, what makes you find a sense of meaning in life as well. So Venus is trining Saturn there, and then Saturn is imparting his knowledge and wisdom to Mars, you know, trying to slow down, put the brakes on, have some reality checks around what's healthy to express from this house up here, where Saturn can be the wise one in this house. If you're certainly somebody that's mastered some skills, you could be the teacher, and you may be reviewing some ideas around what you would like to offer and impart to others in this house of knowledge and the higher mind with Saturn retrograde here. So the last aspect I'd like to show is Mars is squaring the stellium of planets from your first house to the fourth house. So, you know, these are angular houses. This is challenging energies. These are dynamic, powerful, emotional energies from Mars in your first house. And it has got something to do with your home or your family, topics around either mothering or where you belong, or reflecting upon your ancestral lineage, or maybe some challenges around property and where you come to rest and how that feels for you. Maybe you don't feel safe. Maybe there's something that you need to let go of and change your mind here, with the Ketu, south node of the moon, with this square. It's certainly very activating for you, Cancer. So, you know, let's see how that unfolds over the next few weeks. And then when the nodes change and go into Virgo, this will be activating your third house and your ninth house of Pisces. So thanks for listening. Leave a comment below. Let me know if any of that resonates with you. And if you haven't already, I really welcome you to subscribe to my channel. For those of you that feel particularly generous, I have got Buy Me a Coffee. But just listening, liking, and subscribing is really appreciated. It gives me a meaning to keep doing these videos. And by keeping doing them, that's the only way I'm going to get better at them. And I don't know what's gone on YouTube lately, but my views have been much, much lower. So maybe it was because I was not feeling so strong in my own health and I wasn't attracting that energy back in. But, you know, previously I've had thousands of views, and then the last few videos I put out have only had a few hundred views. So yeah, I don't know what's going on, but thank you if you like, comment, and that helps the algorithm. Any conversations maybe picks up something and then it shares it with more people, something like that. Anyway, welcome, Leo. This is your short solar eclipse in Libra video interpretation. This is happening in your third house, where we have the sun and the moon at 10 degrees 3 minutes in Libra, conjoined with the south node of the moon, Ketu, the severed body of the dragon or the serpent, and also known as the nodes of fate, something about letting go and releasing, and also Mercury, the messenger of the gods, Hermes, the magician, the communicator, the traveler, the merchant. All of these energies are being highlighted at the time of this new moon eclipse in your third house. And this is the area of life that covers many things like communications, short journeys, interactions with others in your neighborhood. It can be to do with your siblings as well, aunts and uncles, cousins, distant relatives, or friends that you treat as family. There's something here that is encouraging you to close a chapter of something that's been going on over the last 18 months when you've been having these houses, Aries, third house, and ninth house, Libra. Aries is your ninth house and Libra is your third house. Third house, house of the goddess, ninth house, house of God. These angles, these axes have been activated over the last 18 months. But this is the very last Libran eclipse. Sometimes my mouth doesn't say what my mind intends to say, so I don't know what goes on there. So thank you for bearing with me. But this is the last Libran solar eclipse, with the last opportunity to face what you maybe need to let go of and shed, to allow a new chapter to unfold, because there's a sense of needing to surrender something, give something up, release it, let it go. And then that allows something new to come in that can unfold over the next 18 months or so, because the nodes of the moon will be shifting into your second house of Virgo and your 8th house of Pisces. And we've also just had the very first full moon in Pisces, lunar eclipse, recently on the 18th of September, which is initiating that triggering point of these axes that are going to continue over the next 18 months. So if you can reflect upon what was happening for you there, Leo, maybe you can sense a theme that's coming. But second house is about your own resources. Eighth house is about shared resources. So it's likely that those themes are going to be highlighted. Your ruler is the sun, you know, so your sun's down here in Libra, and Libra really needs to try to find balance and cooperation to be healthy. So Mars is in a trine and overcoming, no, not an overcoming trine. Mars is in an overcoming trine to Venus in the 4th house from your 12th house. And Venus is in a trine to Saturn in your 8th house, and Saturn is in a trine to Mars in your 12th house. So this is a grand trine in water, highlighting emotions, feelings, sensitivity. And, you know, as I was saying, Mars in Cancer is highly sensitive and protective of topics around home and family and mothering and safety and security. This is hidden away in your 12th house. So there's maybe things going on behind the scenes that are difficult, and sometimes this is known to be the house of self-undoing. So watch for any bad habits that don't help you, that make you feel like you're losing control. And Mars will be in Cancer for several months here after going into Leo and retrograding back. So you're going to have plenty of time to you know, filter through and work on your inner self and find that sort of sense of truth and inner wealth. When you have time to reflect, recognize your inner thoughts, maybe do some meditative practices that can help you filter out what's not needed, that can just make you feel like you have no control, and in topics around home and family. And Venus here in your 4th house, you know, Venus in Scorpio is in a place of exile. She's away from Taurus that she rules in Scorpio, ruled by Mars, this house of Scorpio. So there can be some intense energies, perhaps some conflict, possessiveness, jealousies, intense feelings. Mars trining Venus. At least there's a trine, which is a hopeful aspect to the nature of Jupiter that potentially can bring some positive opportunities. But, you know, bearing in mind that Mars is in fall and Venus is in detriment or exile, you know, it's difficult to maybe manifest these outcomes. And Venus is also in a trine to Saturn in Pisces in your 8th house, which is to do with shared resources and karmic debt, money from others, limitations, what's challenging, what's difficult, what's a reality check that Saturn offers. And Saturn is also in an overcoming trine to Mars in your hidden house. So there's definitely challenges going on there for you. Opportunities, emotions are high, and also Mars in the 12th house is squaring this stellium of planets in your house of everyday life. So there's a lot of energy there, a lot of motivation, you know, behind the scenes feelings that really engage you to want to overcome and dig deep and find some sort of sense of overcoming obstacles in your daily life and your daily routines there. And it could be slight conflict as well, related to either close friends that you treat as family or siblings. But see how that goes. It's a house of communication, so just be aware of that, Leos. Let me know if any of that rings true for you, and good luck as that all unfolds. So moving on to Virgo. Hi there, Virgo. This is your new moon solar eclipse in Libra, rather. That's another moment where I've said the wrong thing when I'm meaning something else. So we can see the 2nd house here. This is where the stellium of planets are, with the sun and the moon at 10 degrees, 3 minutes in Libra, conjoined at this new moon, as is always the case. And we've also got the south node of the moon, Ketu, within a 6-degree orb of this new moon. So Ketu is really about release. It's the severed body of the dragon or the serpent in ancient astrology. And it's about a sense of letting go and surrender, a sense of release, sometimes a sense of diminishment, you know, not holding on to something that it's just against the grain, really. And there's something really about fate, something fated around the nodes of the moon. Sometimes it's not within our control, and it's just trusting that it's okay. Let something go and let it just be shed to allow that release for a new chapter to begin. So at the time of the new moon, it can be a time of new beginnings, but there's a darkness, so you can't really make plans. But the plans that you may have may be also along the same themes of what's been going on the last 18 months between your second house of Libra, which would have started on the 14th of October 2023, and the last new moon eclipse in Aries will be the 29th of March 2025. So these topics around your own skills, your own finances, your own abilities have also been in this axis for the last 18 months, and about shared resources, shared finances, shared responsibilities and intimacy, karmic debt. You know, all of these things would have been in the balance, being triggered over all of these eclipses. And this is the last opportunity for you to deal with this Libran one. There won't be any more Libran ones for quite some time now. So, and your ruler is Mercury. So Mercury is also conjunct the sun and the moon within about a degree and a half. So Mercury, I suppose, is combust, being so close to the sun. It won't be seen. So Mercury, yeah, Mercury would have been Kazemi as well, in the heart of the sun, but now is rising as an evening star. But Mercury, the messenger of the gods, the communicator, the traveler, the merchant, the magician, the trickster, wants to find harmony, wants to find peace and harmony and balance, working in partnership and collaboration. So that's maybe the directional energy, you know, with all the Libran energy so strong there at this time of this new moon solar eclipse. And what else have we got going on? We've got the trine, the water trine. So Mars is in an overcoming trine from Cancer in the 11th house to Venus in your 3rd house, and Venus is in an overcoming trine to Saturn in your 7th house of close and personal relationships, and Saturn is in an overcoming trine to Mars in your 11th house of Cancer. So 3rd house, communications, daily life, journeys, can be about personal relationships, intense things, what's important to you, your values in your everyday life, you know, in your neighborhood, in the way that you communicate either with siblings or within close relationships. Venus is in exile, you know, in detriment, you know, can bring up intense feelings in Scorpio. And then this Saturn has been in your 7th house of close personal relationships for some time now. Let me get the exact date. I can give you the wrong information. The 8th of March 2023 is when Saturn ingressed into your 7th house of Pisces. So it's an angle of your chart. It's a very powerful dynamic point. So Venus is trining that. The flow of energy of this water trine heightens emotions. Saturn in the 7th house could be highlighting topics around commitment within relationship, long term. Are you still on the same page and still aspiring to the same values if you are in a close relationship? It also can be about responsibilities in your work life to those that you serve, if you have clientele as well, people that you serve, if you're in a role of service. And Saturn is also in a trine to Mars in Cancer in fall in the 11th house of Jupiter's joy. So Mars is this is in the house of your hopes and wishes and your dreams, Jupiter's joy, and this is going to be highlighted for quite some time with Mars being in Cancer. You know, he's going to be here for many months after going into Leo and then retrograding back into Cancer. So there's going to be topics about protection around home and family and mothering and safety. And then Mars trines Venus, personal values, interactions in your everyday life. So, you know, the flow of energy is potentially there, but with Mars in fall and Venus in detriment, you know, there's some challenges to work through, despite the potential for some opportunities to be harmonious, where the planet's a little bit irritated or not quite as comfortable or are able to express their own significances as easily. You know, Saturn's maybe the one that's going to have the overcoming say, because he is, you know, setting the boundaries and giving some structure and direction to these flowing waters of Pisces, which are uncontained, you know. So that's something that's definitely going on for you, Virgo. And what else was I going to say? The Mars is also squaring from your 11th house, squaring the stellium of planets in your 2nd house. So again, topics around your hopes and wishes and dreams, long-term plans, and then squaring the nature of Mars, 90-degree angle. This is going to be happening between the 3rd of October and the 18th of October, if we include the moon and the square to the sun and the square to Mercury. Topics around your own abilities and skills and resources and your finances and security. You know, so Mars up here in the 11th house of Cancer, really highlighting topics of family and home. And then again, the 2nd house is also about how you can achieve that sense of security. And ideally, you want to do it within relationship or harmony, but the square can be challenging. There can be things to overcome. There's blockages. You have to dig deep. So I hope that's helpful for you, Virgo. Leave a comment below. Like if you can, just press the like button if any of that feels like it might resonate with you and unfold over the next wee while. Thank you for listening. Hi there, Libra. This is your Libra solar eclipse, new moon solar eclipse, short delineation. So you are one of the cardinal signs of the Zodiac, and you will be familiar with having these axes of Libra and Aries being, you know, challenged over the last 18 months since there was the first eclipse in Libra was on the 14th of October 2023, and this is the last one that you have the opportunity to face something about yourself and what you can let go of, because this is in the house of you. The first house is the helm of the ship, and there's a sense of the potential for something new to unfold within how you express yourself and show up in the world, how you share with others, how you focus on life, and, you know, generally your identity and your sort of mindset. There's something new here that you can bring forward in the future, but before that can happen, with the south node of the moon here within a 6-degree orb of the sun and the moon, new moon at 10 degrees 3 minutes, the south node of the moon, Ketu, the severed body of the dragon or the serpent, is encouraging you to sort of shed what's no longer needed. There's something sort of fated and karmic about the nodes of the moon. And, you know, there's a sense of releasing something, letting go of something that no longer is part of you, so that you can start this new chapter in how you show up in the world. And Mercury is here also in this little cluster, this stellium of planets. There's also dark moon Lilith in there at 10 degrees, but I'm not involved in that in my interpretation. So Mercury in Libra, the communicator, the messenger of the gods, how we communicate with others. And, you know, harmony is what you want. You want peace and harmony and avoidance of conflict. As a Libran, you know, Venus is your chart ruler, and she is the goddess of peace and love and harmony and beauty and all things that are refined and, you know. So Venus is in a trine here, a water trine, overcoming water trine from your second house, you know, so you're looking at your values, what's important to you, your skills, and how you can make finances here with Venus in Scorpio. Venus is, you know, quite passionate and focused in this fixed water sign of the zodiac. So it could be highlighting really deep feelings here of what's important around topics of security and your own skills. And, you know, she is sending a trine, an overcoming trine, 120 degrees, the nature of Jupiter. So some harmony is potentially possible to your Saturn in Pisces in your everyday life of work and service to others. So it's tying in skills to your work life. It's also tying in topics around health as well. So you may be reflecting upon what's healthy for you in your life, maybe trying to make some changes to your routines, or recognizing what you can let go of and what you can limit or improve with Saturn retrograding here in your house of Pisces at 14 degrees, 14 minutes retrograde. And then Saturn is in an overcoming trine to Mars in Cancer in your 10th house. So that's a very dynamic house. It's your visible house of public reputation and what you're seen to do in the world. It's the house of your social status. And here you can see that Mars in Cancer is highly charged to do things that are emotionally driven, because the moon is the ruler of Cancer and Mars is in falling Cancer. So you can have extra high energies that are heightened around topics of safety, protection, care, home and family, you know, that are more visible as well, that you're showing to the world, you know, this protective nature that you have here. And this will be an area that's lit up for you, because Mars will be in Cancer for quite a lot of months. Usually Mars spends about 5 or 6 weeks in a sign, but Mars will be going into Leo and then retrograding back into Cancer. I can't remember the exact dates. If you look at my previous video, I've mentioned those dates. I'm on holiday in Crete, so yeah, sorry if I haven't got all of those details. But yeah, Mars in Cancer in your 10th house is going to be highly important to you, highlighting all of these topics over the next few months anyway. And then we have got the square from Mars in your 10th house, which is the dynamic angle Kentron of the chart, to the stellium of planets in your first house. So yeah, Mars up there could be causing some sort of real motivational energies. This square is very motivating. The square is the nature of Mars. Mars is in Mars's energy of squaring all of this potential new moon energy around you and how you show up in the world. So it can make you dig deep, work to overcome obstacles, so that can enrich some change for the future for you as you shed something and move into a new chapter in your life. So thank you for listening, Libra. Like, share, leave a comment below, buy me a coffee if you're feeling particularly generous. And yeah, just thank you for listening, and I hope it's helpful for you. So Scorpio, let me circle where this new moon solar eclipse in Leo is, at Libra, is happening. My throat is getting a bit tight, actually. Here we go. This is a new moon eclipse at 10 degrees Libra, 3 minutes. The sun and the moon are always conjoined. This is in your 12th house. It's the hidden place, Scorpio. It's behind the scenes. It's a place of retreat, away from the public eye, that you may be reflecting upon some deeper issues within. And there is a sense with the south node of the moon, Ketu, here at 6 degrees Libra. You know, there's something karmic. It's like fated, that there is something that you need to shed and let go of, because Ketu is the severed body of the dragon in ancient astrology. So it's about surrendering something, releasing something, letting something go that may be holding you back. So it's reflecting upon some of these topics behind the scenes. And Mercury is also here combust with the sun, having recently been Kazemi, given extra power, but now is an evening star rising after the sun. So Mercury wants to do things harmoniously. So there's something, around new beginnings, but letting go of something. And you would have been having these energies going across the Libra and Aries axes over the last 18 months. So the first new moon eclipse in Libra happened on the 14th of October 2023, and the last new moon eclipse in Aries is going to be the 29th of March 2025. So these topics, the 12th house of Libra, Saturn's joy, the hidden place, opposite the house of Mars's joy, work life, everyday service, self-sacrifice, your health. All of these issues have been in the balance when you've had these eclipses, but this is the very last eclipse here. So on reflection, when you're tuning into your inner self, your inner wealth, your higher self, away from the public eye, this is the opportunity to let go of something that's going to be good for you in the future, for a new chapter to evolve. And then we've got this trine. Your ruler is Mars. Mars is in Cancer, in full, highly emotional, highly sensitive in the 9th house. And Mars is in a trine to Venus in Scorpio in your 1st house. So yeah, something about 9th house is about your higher mind, your belief systems, could be about further education, overseas shores. It's about travel of the higher mind, learning what nourishes you and gives you a sense of finding your place in the world, really. And then Venus is in a trine to Saturn in your 5th house of Venus's joy, pleasures, creativity, romance. It could be restrictions here with Saturn here, recognizing what's missing here. Venus in your 1st house of Scorpio. When Venus is in your 1st house, you know, she's the goddess of love and beauty. She may highlight trying to bring out something more about your own appearance, you know, maybe just taking time to show up in a more attractive way, whatever that means to you. You may invest in something in your appearance or clothes or do something different. And Scorpio is quite a sexual sign, you know, so Venus in Scorpio in full, you may come across as quite magnetic, quite attractive to others. And that may, you know, with this trine to Saturn, Saturn's retrograde, 14 degrees retrograde in Pisces, you know, there's a positive flow here that may lead to some opportunities in your romantic life if something's been missing there, or may highlight some creativity around your own passions and entrepreneurial ideas. And Saturn is trining Mars up here, who's highly emotional and protective. You know, the emotions and energy levels can fluctuate with Mars in the sign of the moon. So yeah, there's a trine there, which is, you know, generally there's hope and potential opportunities, but heightened emotions. And I think Saturn, because he's not particularly, he's peregrine, he's not like in full or in exile or detriment. So he's probably going to be harnessing and giving reality checks and grounding some of these energies that may be very emotional. And your ruler is Mars, and another aspect that we've got going on is Mars in your 9th house of Cancer, squaring this hidden house, the stellium up here of the sun and the moon and Mercury. So these energies are going to be happening the day after this new moon, starting on the 3rd of October. There's going to be a square to the sun, which could highlight some feelings around your emotions. You know, Mars in Cancer is already emotional, but it may reflect upon more emotions around partnership, perhaps relationships. Libra is very much about shared relationships, and you may be processing some of this behind the scenes. The square is challenging. The square involves overcoming things. So there could be some conflict or, something that needs to be resolved here. And then Mars will be squaring Mercury, which will be exact on the 6th of October. So ideas, behind the scene ideas, if you do any dream journals or meditate, recognize what's coming up for you at this time. And then that square to Mercury from Mars continues until the 8th of October. And then Mars will square the Sun from the 8th of October, exact on the 14th of October, and in a separating square, 3-degree orb on the 18th of October. So the square to the Sun is about our self-expression, our ambitions, our drive. Mars could give you more propelling energy to sort of work on that and how you can express that for you, Scorpios. So yeah, let's see what unfolds for you. And I wish you well over the next wee chapter of your life. Press like if you can, subscribe if you haven't. If you have, thank you. Leave a comment below to help the algorithm. And again, thanks for listening. So turning the page now on my notes, I had to go to the hotel reception because I couldn't get notes printed here or put up on another laptop. So the things you do to try and do a YouTube video while you're on holiday. So my notes are here. So Sagittarius, we've got this new moon solar eclipse in your 11th house, where the Sun and the Moon are at 10 degrees 3 minutes Libra, and Mercury is also under the beams of the Sun, having recently been cazimi in Libra, when they would have been exactly the same degree and minute, but now Mercury's moved past that. So now as an evening star, Mercury is about your ideas and your interactions and interactions, journeys, selling yourself. There could be something new for you, Sagittarians, in this house of hopes and wishes and long-term plans. That you may be wanting to bring up for the future. Having said that, you may have to let go of something or some way of being or some part of your long-term dreams, or it may involve your groups and networks and community groups that you've been part of, letting go of something that you don't resonate with any longer. Be true to yourself, and you would have been having these energies going across the 11th house and the 5th house of Aries axes since the 13th of October, 14th of October 2023. That's when we had the first lunar eclipse in Libra, and on the 29th of March 2025, that's when there's going to be the last new moon solar eclipse in Aries, in this 5th house of Aries. Venus's joy, your pleasures, children, romance, entrepreneurship. So you've been experiencing these 11th house, groups, long-term plans, people that support you, and then your own pleasures, this axis here, 11th house and 5th house energies. However, this is the very last new moon in Libra. So there's an opportunity here for you to face something that's authentic and true to you, and what that means for the future, to close a door, to release something, to let go of something that's maybe not worth holding on to allow something else to unfold. Because in the future, the south node of the moon is going to go into your 10th house of Virgo. That's your career life, your vocations in life, and your social status. And the north node of the moon is going to be moving into your 4th house of Pisces. And we've just had the very first full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces. That was on the 18th of September. So these axes are going to be very strong for you, Sagittarians, in the future, over the next sort of 18 months, because it's the 10th house and angle, 4th house angle. At the moment, you're just completing this 11th house, 5th house energy here. And your ruler is Jupiter, and he is in Gemini in your 7th house of personal relationships. He's been here since May 2024 and will be here for a year. So he's here. There is a water trine, a grand trine in water. Mars in your 8th house of Cancer, in an overcoming trine to Venus in your 12th house of Scorpio, the hidden place, places of reflection, retreat, dream world, subconscious, the hidden place, you know, the inner world within you that's maybe not visible to the public, things that you tune into when you're away from others in retreat and privacy. And Venus goes to Saturn in the 4th house of home and family, and Saturn trines Mars in your 8th house. So it's a grand trine in water that highlights emotions. Saturn in the 4th house is probably giving you a real reality check around what's possible, what's difficult, what's, you know, what's healthy around responsibilities, what's difficult, what's challenging. Reality checks, healthy boundaries around home and family. And then that trine goes to Mars in Cancer. This is going to be highlighted for quite a long time, with Mars spending months in this house of Cancer, which is related to karmic relationships, partnerships, intimacy, karmic debt, what you bring to the table, what your partner brings to the table if you're in a relationship. If not, just the topics again around safety and protection and home and family are really brought up here. And there's all, this is the house of anxieties and fears. So being aware of that, because Mars can agitate and irritate and inflame those anxieties sometimes. This is also the house of mysteries and the occult. And inheritance and money from others that doesn't come in from your everyday life. So Saturn is quite strong. He's retrograde, he's reflecting, he's bringing wisdom after being in Pisces for quite a while now, since 8th of March 2023. He's halfway through, reflecting now, going back over old ground around these home topics, family, responsibility, boundaries, limitations, difficulties, challenges. He's trining Mars, house of intimacy, karmic debt, and Mars is trining Venus in your 12th house, your hidden place. Sometimes when things are hidden, we can hide them from ourselves, and unless we give ourselves space to tap into them, we're not really aware of what these undercurrents and subconscious things are. So it's important to take time for ourselves to tune into that, speaking as a Sagittarian ascendant. And also that was the harmonious aspect, and Mars is square the 11th house. So the square is the nature of Mars. It's about challenges to overcome, overcoming blockages, obstacles. And then this is going to impact on your long-term dreams and wishes, plans for the future. It could be about relationships in your groups as well. So there could be some sense of cutting away, severing ties, what no longer resonates with you Sagittarians. Or you may be digging deep to really try to achieve something for your future plans to manifest how you'd like. At the same time, remember that there's a sense of you have to let go of something. Sometimes we can get a bit like, thoughts can get a bit impregnated and fixed when you've had the same thought about what you'd like to do in the future. And maybe sometimes, you know, you have to think differently and let go of some ideas so that other ideas can come in. So see how that resonates with you Sagittarians. Thank you very much for listening. Like, subscribe, leave a comment below if you're able. Hi there, Capricorn. This is your new moon in Libra solar eclipse, short interpretation. As we can see that you're one of the cardinal signs of the Zodiac, cardinal Earth, and this is a a very dynamic house. It's a very visible house. It's the house of praxis and action. And what you're seen to do in the public eye is your public status, your reputation, and your public visibility in the outside world, you know, the house that's really visible. So this can often reflect your occupation if you're in the work life sphere of your life. It can be your vocations, and it can just be your status, you know. So it's like, you know, if you're a single parent, that's your status. If you're married, that's your status. If you're a grandmother and you're always looking after your children, your grandchildren, or a grandfather, those sorts of things, that's your status. So there's something new, potentially. This is the last new moon solar eclipse in the Libra area of your life, which has been going on since the 14th of October, 2023, across the 10th house of Libra and your 4th house of home and family, the Aries axes. You know, so you've had these energies toing and froing, pulling, you know, tug of war, trying to find balance between these areas of your life since the 14th of October. And what we can see up here is the sun and the moon are always conjunct at a new moon. So 10 degrees, 3 minutes Libra, and Mercury, the planet of the messenger of the gods, planet of communication, interactions, mercantile projects, ideas, thoughts. I said communications, didn't I? He's a magician, he's a trickster, he's a psychopomp that, you know, messenger of the gods could take spirits to the other world after they left this earthly plane. So he is also up here at the time of this new moon solar eclipse. He has recently been conjoined Cazimi with the sun, when he would have been in the heart of the sun at the same degree in minutes, but now he's moved, he's combust, he can't be seen in the heavens. He's a nighttime star now, rising at night. But, you know, Mercury in Libra with the sun and the moon in Libra, it's all about trying to find some sense of balance and harmony, maybe collaboration, partnership, because Libra is a sign of the scales and wanting to find that balance. Librans like to have peace and harmony and avoid conflict, but there's something around the karmic point here of the south node of the moon, Ketu. The nodes of fate is how modern astrologers would talk about the nodes of the moon. So something comes along that isn't necessarily within our control. And Ketu in Indian and ancient astrology is the severed body of the dragon or the serpent. So there's a sense of letting go, releasing something. There's a sense of diminishment, weakening, surrendering something. So around the time of this new moon solar eclipse in Libra, in order for you to complete the learning that you've had going across these axes of your career or your social public life and home and family, this is the last opportunity for you to think about, you know, what can be let go of, so that a new chapter can unfold. And certainly we've just had the first full moon eclipse where the lunar eclipse in Pisces, that was on the 18th of September. And in the future, the 3rd house of Pisces and your 9th house of Virgo, where the south node will be shifting in. They always go retrograde, as you can see with this RX highlighted there in red. Those houses, the 3rd house and the 9th house, the house of goddess, the house of God, are going to be highlighted. But at the moment, it's the very dynamic angles of your chart that you're completing these energies. And there will be the last new moon solar eclipse in Aries on the 29th of March, 2025. So focus on those ideas, Capricorn, and see what resonates with you there. Your ruler is Saturn, and he is in an overcoming trine. We've got a Grand Trine in the water sign. So Saturn's 14 degrees Pisces, 14 minutes retrograde in Pisces. He's been halfway through. You're going back over topics around your neighborhood and your communications, maybe learning and teaching, early education, siblings, friends that you treat as family, or it can be, you know, your relationships with cousins and aunts and uncles, distant relatives. There's something reflection here, short journeys, responsibilities around your local environment. So there's a trine to Mars in your 7th house of personal relationships. Now, this could be reality checks coming. The trine is harmonious in energy, but these are the malefic planets, and Mars is in an angle of your chart here, the house of personal relationships. Mars is quite emotionally sensitive, would be a lighter way of putting it, or it could be emotionally volatile, depending on how your own personal chart is laid out, because this is just a general reading without looking at your personal chart. But Mars in Cancer is known to be in fall, so he's fluctuating with moods and energy. You know, Mars is about dynamism and energy, and there's something around your house of personal relationships. There could be some conflict and high emotional volatility, but Saturn is maybe giving you some reality checks and trying to sort of ground it and think long term here. The trine is hopeful because it's an aspect of flow, the nature of Jupiter. So there is some potential there. And then Mars is in a trine, an overcoming trine to Venus in Scorpio, in your 11th house of Jupiter's joy, about your long-term wishes and plans. Venus in Scorpio is pretty intense and sensitive as well, because she's in the place of exile away from Taurus. She rules Taurus. That's her temple, and she's far from home. In exile, but it can highlight some real focused ideas, determination around what are your passions for the future, because Scorpio is a fixed water sign, very intense and, you know, determined, that fixed nature. So, you know, there's a flow potential there, and maybe it involves partners, or maybe it involves, you know, some sort of breaking away and severing ties from close relationship partners to fulfill these dreams and long-term wishes. And then Venus is in a trine, an overcoming trine to Saturn from your 11th house. So this is Jupiter's joy. Can be a house of your it used to be called allies and benefactors in ancient times. So maybe you've got particular friendships here that are really going to be supportive to you. Intense, you know, interactions and collaborations may support you in how that can be expressed in your day-to-day life around where you live, in your community, in your neighborhood, where you may have lots of responsibility, perhaps, or some limitations, because Saturn is about challenges and limitations. It depends. If you're born in the daytime, Saturn is less challenging to you. Sometimes he's more helpful, but if you're born at night, Saturn can certainly be more challenging to you and cause a sense of burden and responsibility. So there is that grand trine, water trine, energies around your emotions and sensitivity, reactions triggered with your 3rd, 7th, and 11th house. And then the other aspect I've been talking about is Mars in your, this is very dynamic actually, because it's your 7th house of personal relationships squaring the stellium up here in your 10th house, Capricorns. So they're both angles of the chart. So yeah, the square is the nature of Mars, whereas the trine was the nature of Jupiter, the largest planet of the solar system. So there's more flow and hope and optimism. But the square, Mars is, you know, you can bring challenges to overcome. It can bring some conflict, some difficulties, some obstacles. And this is going to go on between the day after this new moon on the 2nd of October, beginning on the 3rd of October until the 18th of October for 2 weeks. Mars is going to trine the moon, and then the Mercury, and then the sun. Yeah, the moon is going to be on the 3rd of October. So, you know, your feelings could be heightened there, your sensitivities, you know, wanting to find peace. But this Mars in Cancer is highly protective around security, and it's in your house of close relationships, or your clientele that you protect and advocate for, you know, and look after in your work life, perhaps. So it's either work or close relationships, partnerships, marriage relationships. Feelings are being heightened, you know, difficulties have to be faced and overcome. And then Mars will square Mercury, which will be exact on the 6th of October until the 8th of October. So Mercury is around your feelings and ideas and your communications, you know, Mercury in Libra wants to have the peace and keep it harmonious and work together. You know, just watch the Mars in Cancer, which can be a bit volatile and clashing and just overly assertive emotionally. And then there's going to be the square to the Sun on the 8th of October, exact on the 14th of October, and still in a separating orb until the 18th of October. So that Mars squaring the Sun, you know, actually the Sun is also known to be in fall as well in Libra, because the Sun is in exaltation in Aries. So the Sun shines really strong and dynamically in that fiery sign of Aries. But in Libra, you know, it's that autumn time in the Northern Hemisphere. You know, the Sun's not quite as strong and there can be sort of depletions. So the square from Mars about assertion to the Sun, which is about your self-expression and ambition and your drive. You know, there's things to work through to overcome there as well, Capricorns. So yeah, let me know if any of that resonates with you, or see how that unfolds over the next wee chapter. But just bearing in mind that these are very dynamic areas, and this is the last opportunity to face around your career life or what you do in the public eye. Leave a comment below, press the like button to help the algorithm if you can. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. So Aquarius, this is the new moon in Libra happening in your 9th house. So you would have been used to these energies going across your 9th house of God, the higher mind, your belief systems, what makes you understand your purpose in life. You know, it can be about religion, spirituality, pilgrimages. It can be about the higher mind of further studies. It can be about further education. It can be about mastering skills. It can be about overseas shores and other cultures. So this energy has been going on across the 9th house of Libra and the 3rd house of Aries, which is the house of Goddess. These aspects across these axes have been going on and since the first Libran eclipse on the 14th of October 2023. But this is the very last opportunity that you've got. So maybe there's something around letting go, ending, release, surrendering with this Ketu, the south node of the moon, Aquarius, because the Sun and the moon are conjoined at 10 degrees 3 minutes Libra, and the severed severed body of the dragon or serpent, this is the south node of the moon, the node of fate. There's something karmic. There's something around you know, fated sometimes, that there's a sense of surrender, letting go of something here. Maybe it's an old belief system that no longer serves you, that you just can shed now. You know, you've tried to work with it, or it's not resonating with you and your path and your belief systems. There's something about shedding and release and diminishment and a loss of something, but in that part of your life can be released for a new beginning, a new chapter in this area of life here. But it will be shifting into your 8th house when the south node moves into Virgo. And we've just had this first full moon in Pisces on the 18th of September. You know, so those axes of Virgo and 8th house Virgo and 2nd house Pisces will be taking over from these the Libra and Aries axes in your chart. But there is still one more new moon solar eclipse in Aries on the 29th of March 2025. So just you're completing, there's an ending here of letting go of something to make space for new changes and new chapters to come up for you, Aquarians. And this is the very last Libran eclipse, as I was saying, in this area of your life. So your ruler is Saturn, and he is part of a Grand Trine in water. So here's Saturn at 14 degrees Pisces, 14 minutes in your 2nd house. So there's something around your own skills, your own abilities, how you can create security, use your own resources, and you're reflecting upon these ideas. The 2nd house of Pisces, And Saturn's been there since the 8th of March in this house of Pisces, 2023. He's been halfway through. He's retrograding, reflecting, going back over ideas. Maybe you're retraining or topping up some skills, recognizing what's missing around your own skill set. Or maybe you're limiting your finances and cutting back and budgeting. That might be another interpretation. So Saturn is in an overcoming trine to Mars in your 6th house. So 2nd house of finances and skills and resources is trining to Mars in Cancer in your 6th house of your daily life and work and service. So this is often to do with, you know, what you do ritualistically every day, which, you know, if you're in a work life period of life, that's your daily work. Can be service to others. It used to be the house of servants in ancient astrology. So Mars is in fall here, highly emotional, sensitive, changeable. Energies may fluctuate because the moon rules this temple that Mars is in, and he's not really able to be as constant and dynamic and productive. You know, the emotions are high here. There's a sensitivity and a sense of, you know, maybe you are feeling, if you have colleagues or co-workers, you could be either having conflict or wanting to protect and advocate for those that you see that are in a position of what you perceive to be weakness, or they're not as able to care for themselves, because Mars is a real warrior, mother bear energy in your daily life of work and service. That can also be around your own health as well, though. So be aware of that, Aquarius, because the 6th house is about your own health, and it can be related to illness. So watch that your emotions don't get to the point where you feel you're putting so much worry out that it can deplete you and impact on your own health. And Mars will be in this house of Cancer for quite a few months. He will go into your 7th house of Leo for a while, but then retrograde back. So spending many, many months in this area of your life. So have a look at my last video for looking at the dates of that. I don't have them on hand. But yeah, this area of life will be highlighted for you for quite a while. Cancer does rule the stomach and things like that. So sometimes Mars can cause irritation, inflammation, and extra sensitivity. So just be aware of that in your health. So Saturn trine Mars, water, Pisces, and Cancer. And then up here to Venus, Mars is in trine to Venus in your 10th house of public visibility in Scorpio. So this is really quite a prominent position for your Aquarius. So it could be highlighting your values, pleasures, might be related to your work, might be related to finances and being quite focused and determined, because Scorpio is very, focused in fixed water, quite exclusive, quite dynamic. Mars, Venus is in exile or detriment in Scorpio, but is up here really visibly working. So there could be some positive influences coming from your work life, career life, and then the trine. Venus is in an overcoming trine to Saturn in your 2nd house of skills and finances. So determination, focus, skill set, recognition, limitations, work life, protection, safety and security. All of these topics are being highlighted for you, Aquarius. And then Mars is also in a square. This is a little bit more of a challenging aspect, because a square is a 90-degree angle, which is a little bit, the nature of Mars. Mars in your everyday life of work and service, rituals, mundane chores, self-sacrifice. In Cancer, very caring, very emotional, very protective, is in a square, which can be motivating to this new moon energy in your 9th house of your belief systems or ideas and philosophies in life, a sense of where you belong. It's things to overcome. There could be blockages and obstacles as well. you know, but if there is something you can recognize that you can let go of, that's going to help close that chapter and allow the next chapter to unfold. So let me know if any of that resonates. Aquarius, like, share, leave a comment below, and thank you for listening. So now, patient Pisces, thank you. This is your chart for the new moon solar eclipse in Libra, which is here in your 8th house, the house of intimacy, the mysterious place, the house of the occult, mysteries. You know, it covers things like astrology, tarot, divination, sex, death, taboo, intimate relationships, karmic debt, what you bring to the table, what others bring to the table, and shared resources. So there's the potential here with this new moon in Libra. You know, the sun and the moon are exactly conjunct 10 degrees, 3 minutes in Libra. And Mercury has recently been Kazemi on the heart of the sun, sitting on the throne with the king, the sun, the god of the heavens. You know, you may have some new ideas, some insight, some, you know, sudden moments of you know, light bulb moments of some ideas that may have come to you that you could work in a partnership with somebody, because Libra is very much a harmonious thing, trying to work in partnership and collaboration with peace and ideas and shared ideas, and, you know, interacting with others is how Libra likes to do these things. But Mercury is under the beams of the sun, is now an evening star. You know, when a planet is within 8 degrees, it's combust and can't be seen in the heavens. So maybe some of these ideas aren't as visible now or as apparent for you. But this new moon eclipse in Libra, these have been happening across this 8th house of your shared resources and your 2nd house of Aries, about your own personal skills and your own personal resources. So you've been having these energies going across the 2nd house, 8th house axes for the last 18 months. And there will be another final new moon in Aries eclipse on the 29th of March 2025 for you to complete this energy. And you've just recently had the very first, just having a look, Pisces, yeah, you've just had the first full moon eclipse in Pisces in your 1st house on the 18th of September. So, you know, after next year, you know, this would have given you a little feeling of what's to come, because the 1st house is very dynamic for you as a mutable sign, your 1st house of self and how you show up, and your house of relationships, your Virgo 7th house is going to be highlighted after these Libran and Aries eclipses have completed. So at the time of this last new moon eclipse in Libra, this is the south node of the moon. So there's a suggestion here that there's a sense of needing to let go and trust in something karmic, release something, shed something, because this is Ketu, the severed body of the dragon or the serpent in ancient astrology and Indian astrology. You know, wherever the south node is now, you know, modern astrologers call it the node of fate or karmic. You know, there's karmic connotations to the nodes, fated sort of things. There's the sense of having to trust and let go of something here. So this chapter of your life can complete and close a door and start a new chapter for you, Pisces. And your ruler is Jupiter in the 4th house of Gemini, been here since May 2024 and will be here for a year. So that's, he's bringing up lots of opportunities and lots of different ideas around home and family, roots and ancestry, your lineage, land and property. You know, Jupiter in Gemini is in detriment or exile because Jupiter rules the opposite sign of Sag. But that's where Jupiter is, and there is a a water trine. Saturn in your first house, you know, retrograde in Pisces, 14 degrees, 14 minutes. You're going over, you know, sometimes Saturn in the first house, depending on your age and your experience in life, Saturn is like the old man of the Zodiac, Chronos, Lord of Time. He's retrograde at the moment. So you maybe feel a little bit somber or serious, or having to reflect upon your own sense of self and responsibilities, or, you know, what you want to overcome or develop and master over time. And Saturn does encourage us for enduring and working hard, persisting with things, overcoming things. And he is setting the boundary. You know, as a Piscean, you would probably give out so much energy and be so sensitive to others. But Saturn is giving walls and constraints and boundaries around this open, fluid water of Pisces. So some reality checks there. So Saturn is in a trine, a water trine, to Mars in Cancer, and your 5th house of Venus's joy, the pleasures in life. Could be related to children, love, creativity, entrepreneurship, wherever you find your pleasures in life. So Saturn is trining Mars in this area of life, which is, you know, highly emotional, highly protective. It could be related to children. There could be something around pregnancy here. Heightened sense of ultra mother bear protection energy, Pisces. And this area of your life is going to be highlighted for many months, because normally Mars spends just a few weeks, like 5 or 6 weeks in the sign of the Zodiac, but he's going into your 5th house of Leo and then retrogrades back into Cancer. So you can listen to my previous video on those dates. But this house of Venus's joy, pleasures, children, entrepreneurship, creativity, romance, pregnancy is being highlighted with this Mars in fall in a place of great emotions and heightened sensitivity around protection. This Saturn is trining that area of your life, in your 1st house, responsibilities, you know, maybe children, and then go into this Venus. Mars is in a trine, overcoming trine to Venus in Scorpio in your 9th house. So this area of life is to do with your belief systems. Yeah, your values as well are tied in here with Venus here in Scorpio. She's in sort of exile away from Taurus, that she rules in opposition 180 degrees. So intense feelings, maybe, I don't know, there's some sense of real intense feelings and depth there. Could be related to focused studies, or your spirituality and ideas of how you interact with others that share those same belief systems as you in your relationships. Intense, exclusive energies, Scorpio here, very deep, passionate. And then Venus in Scorpio is in a trine, overcoming trine to Saturn in Pisces in your 1st house. So these belief systems, these relationships, these intense interactions with others in this area of shared beliefs and your religion or your spirituality is affecting how you can show up in the world. So it's a water trine. So it's all about feelings and emotions. 1st house, 5th house, 9th house. So yeah, Saturn is probably the one that's going to ground and give you some reality checks around these things, because Mars is in fall in Cancer, so weakened, not as able to be as actively focused and able to do what he wants. It's more about emotional protection and feelings. And Venus in Scorpio is in exile or detriment, so is slightly weakened there as well. But, you know, you can turn these energies into real passion and determination there. So Saturn, you know, isn't really weakened. He's peregrine. He doesn't have any particular strength or weakness. He's retrograde, but he's maybe mastering some ideas and reviewing some ideas that around how you show up in the world and your responsibilities in life, and how that may change in the future. you know, looking at this new moon solar eclipse here and letting go of something around, you know, intimacy and fears. And the other aspect that we've got is Mars squaring this area of life, of intimacy, 8th house, shared resources. So it could be about love relationships, squares, something to overcome, because a square is 90 degrees. And it, you know, as you can see, there's that blockage energy there. The trine is flowing and 120 flow, nature of Jupiter. The square is the nature of Mars. So there's a sense of something to overcome, to dig deep. Could be around your romantic relationships, or there could be some challenges around something that activates, you know, really gets you moving and energizes you, which can be then expressed around something new in your house of intimacies, and a new chapter here that maybe involves working in collaboration with someone else, because Libra loves to do things in partnership. So that's about all I'm going to say. Thank you for listening, Pisces. That's me finished this new moon solar eclipse in Libra. Thank you very much for listening. I'm going to take you outside because at the moment the birds at dusk are I don't think I can change the background, but the birds at dusk are crazy out here at dawn and dusk. They're just in this tree just behind me. So it's like they're feeling the energy of the photons of the sun just disappearing. And there's a lovely sunset starting to build over the sea here in Crete. So thank you for listening. This new moon eclipse about fated flow endings, to make some good intentions for new chapters to unfold and let go of what no longer serves you, to open up to some new changes to come in the future. Again, like and share, look in my comments below, leave a comment. I will put in some links to how you can contact me if you'd like a personal reading, and you can look on my website for previous clients' feedback, and astro.com if you want to do your own chart using free data. You need your name, place, date, and crucially time of birth to get your ascendant, and then use the whole sign house system to see how that feels for you. And I've got teaching videos under my videos and blogs on my website. So thanks for listening, and bye for now. Take care.